Hello and welcome to the Handikapable podcast with your host, William Maya. How's everybody doing today, guys? Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there. It is Mother's Day. It is your day. Enjoy your day. Thank you for being mothers and all that good stuff. We're gonna get today's episode. We're gonna get started by talking about gaming for disabled people. To me, this is a near and dear subject to me because I am a disabled gamer. I've been playing games my whole life, and now it's a passion of mine. I've been playing for years. I played Mortal Kombat, I played Tekken, I played Street Fighter. I played all of them. I played all of them until now. So I pretty much know everything there is about gaming. Especially being disabled, you have to learn a lot of different tactics to play the game. So yeah, it's very important to me. That's why I like talking about it. What is the difference between a gamer and a disabled gamer? Well, there's a big difference. An able-bodied gamer could play with both of his hands and could use a regular remote. As like us, we can't use a regular remote, so we have to use fighting pads and fighting sticks and accessible controllers. The list goes on and on. So for me, I went through a bunch of controllers. I have a bunch of controllers I went through. I went through the fighting pad phase. I went through the arcade phase. I even got an accessibility controller that I wore out and it doesn't work anymore. So I've been through all the stages of controllers, and I haven't found the right thing for me. I haven't found the right thing for me because one, it's hard to find a controller to fit your needs, especially with cerebral palsy, because there's severe cerebral palsy, and then there's mild, and then there's mid, and all that different. There are different stages of cerebral palsy. What that means is that we have different tone and different things and this and that. So it all varies on the severity of your cerebral palsy. Like me, I think I have mild cerebral palsy compared to some of my friends that I've met in the past. So to me, it's mild. It's more in my hands than in my feet. So when I'm having say for instance, I have to get a heavy duty controller because I press the buttons very hard and very hard and very vigorously, and I press it with so much force. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've broken like 5 controllers by pressing the buttons too hard. So that differs in the factors also because we have a lot of tone in our hands, especially our right hand. So right now, as I speak, I squeeze my hand really tight. I squeeze it so tight that sometimes it hurts when I open it because I have so much tone in my hands. So you can imagine the most that I put my controllers through because I press the buttons hard, and I've broken a couple just by pressing the buttons too hard. They stay stuck and they stay pressed, and then I have to replace them and all that stuff. So it's really hard. It's really hard trying to find something that fits your specific needs. And not to mention that we have to adjust the settings on the game every time we have to play a different character. Like for some, before I got the arcade stick, I got the Quamba arcade stick. It's compatible with PS4 and PS5, which is good because I have a PS5. And so I got that, and it helps because it has turbo function. And what turbo function is, for people who don't know, turbo function is where you set the button to press over and over and over. So let's say I press the punching button, or as I call it, square. I press it, and instead of just punching one time, it punches 3 or 4 times. It punches 3 or 4 times simultaneously. So when it does that, it takes away some of the stress that I have to put my hands through. So while I'm doing the move over here with my left hand, I'm already holding down the button, so it's already punching. So it does some of the heavy lifting for me, which is good. On the other hand, turbos do limit me from being in tournaments because some tournaments don't allow third-party controllers, and they definitely don't allow turbo function. I think it's a disadvantage. But when you're a disabled gamer, I don't look at it as a disadvantage. I think about it as a helping tool for me to keep up with the rest of them. Because not only am I fighting an able-bodied gamer, I'm fighting an able-bodied gamer that can press all the buttons at the same time. So you can imagine my frustration when I'm trying to do a move to counter his combo. He already did 5 or 6 moves ahead of me. So he's ahead of me. So the turbos speed it up a little bit so I can catch up, so I can keep up with him. Keep up with the competitors. And some people are understanding, and some people say, oh, it's okay, you could play whatever, you could play with us, we don't mind them. But some people think turbos are not, some people think turbos are a disadvantage, that it's cheating, that it's a leg up on them. Look here, man, I'm not one to badmouth the gamer, because I respect the game, I respect the craft, I do what I do. But look, if you're a gamer, if you're a fighting gamer, you know the ins and outs of every game and every character and everything that you do, right? So why couldn't you counter a person using turbos if you're a professional gamer? That shouldn't be an issue to you. The issue is that you don't want somebody like me that's disabled doing it better than you can. You don't want that. You don't want to be that one guy. You don't want to be that one person that gets beaten by somebody that use turbo function, or even has cerebral palsy, or even has 50% use of his hands. You don't want to be that person that got beat by somebody like me, because it's bad for your reputation. And I could say it on my podcast. I could say this because this is why I make it. So all you gamers out there can understand that although I use turbos and I use third-party controllers and I use this and I use that, that doesn't mean I'm less of a gamer than the next guy or less of a competitor just because I have to use accommodations to adapt to my disability. That doesn't mean anything. I have to catch up just like everybody else. I have to fight like everybody else. So when people tell me I'm not allowed to do something, that's fine. I understand rules are rules. Rules are there to be followed. But let me tell you this. Y'all don't want to be that one person that got beat by somebody like me, because that's bad for your reputation. That's bad for your image. You don't want to be that one person. So I get it. I understand. Y'all don't want me in the competition. I get it. I understand completely. It's not meant for us. But it's a dream of mine to compete at that level, and I will get to that level. Even if I gotta make my own thing, I will. But do I respect the game enough to not butcher the name or talk bad about it just because some people don't let me in the competition because of my disability or because I use a third-party controller? No, I have utmost respect for the people that orchestrate those games and orchestrate those competitions. They got rules, they got regulations, and I understand that. I totally get it. I understand that completely. So I hope one day the rules change, and I hope one day they will let us in the tournament, and I hope one day we do get recognized as real gamers. Well, now that I rambled on about that, I apologize. Let's get back on on the topic. So if I could take anything about being a gamer, if I could take anything away from the experiences I had, it's made me more focused on what I want to do in life. I want to be a gamer. I am a gamer. I'm just not a professional gamer. I'm not there yet. But I will get there because I have the dedication and the perseverance to keep going and to keep doing what I do. And as far as my disability affecting my gaming, it does on a regular basis. But I tend to keep it out of my head and just keep it about the game. But sometimes I have days where my spasms are a lot worse than others, and some days I can't move as fast or can't react or can't have reflexes because my hands hurt too much or my back hurts too much or my legs hurt too much. It all factors. If I'm having a good day and I wake up with no pain, then I'm gonna have a good gaming day. But if I wake up with the slightest bit of pain, I'm gonna focus all of that in here, and I'm not gonna focus on the game. I'm just gonna be thinking, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. So it factors. Like on the weekends, I don't play. I work on this podcast. I don't play games. I start Monday. I play Monday through Friday, my video game. And on the weekends, I try to do an episode of my podcast, which I just started up again. So this is my first episode. My disability will always be there, and I say always be there because I was born with cerebral palsy. That was my diagnosis. I was born 5 months and a half premature. They said I wasn't gonna make it. They said I was a miracle and everything else. I had to go to a special school. Well, not a special school, but I had to go to a school that had a program for us. So I met a lot of people with disabilities, different disabilities and different illnesses, and I lost a lot of friends to those illnesses. So I think I'm living through them more so than I think I'm trying to do what they couldn't do, because I had this friend named George. I had this friend named George, best drawer in the world, best drawer in the world. He was the best. He could draw anything. He was the best at what he did. He designed logos. He did all of that. He had an idea for a company, and it was so on the verge of what he was gonna do, big things with that company. He had a shirt, I remember because he wore it on one of his pictures. He said on the shirt, "Don't make me get up." See, that's the sense of humor we have to have. Because although we're in a wheelchair and we have a disability and we have struggles and we're always in pain and we're always this and we're that, we have to learn how to laugh at each other, you know? We have to learn how to have that sense of humor to be able to wear a shirt like that. Like his shirt, "Don't make me get up," or stuff like that. And put something funny instead of spelling cripple with the K, it's cripple with the K. Instead of spelling cripple with the C, spell it with the K because we're kings, you know? Cripple with the K is more funny that way. It's more you could approach the word with less caution and less nervousness, because if you see cripple with the C, then you're gonna be like, oh, it's a bad word. But if you see cripple with the K, then it's gonna be like, oh, he's funny about it. We could talk to this guy about his disability, because he's cool about talking about it. Like my friend Cody has this podcast that he's a part of, and he is doing great things, talking about football, doing his thing with these people. And I'm proud of him, man. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Cody doing his thing. I got inspired by him, man. Because when I started watching this podcast, I would watch him talk around all these people about football and about what he loves, and they accepted him. And he used to have another podcast. I think his podcast right now is called the one that he's a part of, Cat Chronicles or something like that. And then the other podcast he was a part of, it was called the Cripple Connection Podcast. It's still on his YouTube. Y'all go over there and watch it. If y'all watch my podcast, go watch his old episodes with my friend Jeffrey, with our friend Jeffrey Redman, because they talk about some good stuff. They talk about video games. They got the information. It's legit, bro. See, the thing is, we have all these ideas, right, about having podcasts and about this and about that. We could make a podcast. We could talk about whatever, and people will want to listen to us, because although we have disabilities, you guys, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of stories that will blow your mind, and you will say to yourself, wow, how could they go through that and still be smiling? Because we have to. And that Cripple Connection podcast and the Cat Chronicle podcast and all that good stuff that we're doing out there, we're trying to bring the disabled people from the back seat and put them in the front seat, because we belong in the front seat. We don't belong in the back no more. We're not in the background no more. We deserve to be seen, and we deserve to be heard, and we deserve to be valued as human beings, and not somebody with a disability. We deserve to be seen as human beings besides our disability. Our disability is not going to define us. What we do will define us. This podcast is for other people with disabilities to come on. After I figured everything out how to bring on people to this podcast, I'm going to bring a bunch of people that have a disability, and I'm going to let them tell their story, because not only is my story interesting, but I have other people that have way more interesting stories. We got a bunch of stories that will blow your mind. You'll go crazy just thinking about everything we've been through, and we still gotta smile and act like we're okay. But we're not okay, you guys. We're far from okay. Let me tell you, we're far from okay. We're way off. You know, we're way off. We cry, we get mad, we go through bad days where we don't want to see nobody. And believe me, we still conjure up the energy to get up every day. Well, after they get us up, because my mom gets me up and everything. She gets me ready for the day. But after I get up and get in my wheelchair and get prepared for the day, I have to say to myself, even though I'm in pain, even though I'm struggling mentally, I still have to find a way to write an episode for this podcast, to play my game, to make sure I play with all my friends online so I won't look bad as a bad friend, to always be there for everybody. And on top of that, I still have to find time to relax. So even though I don't have a job, I have a schedule to keep, to get this podcast off the ground, to get on my TikTok, to get on my fan base, to get on all these accounts that I have. I take care of them. To get on my Snapchat, take a couple of pictures, post them, make a video about them, put my stuff out there. and all that stuff. So I have a busy schedule. If I were to write everything that I do in this room all day, it's a full 8-hour job. I don't get paid, but I consider it a job. I consider it a job. It's a beautiful job, and I'm happy to do it, but I'm just saying it's not all easy. It's not just about getting up and doing it. You have to write everything out the next day, and you have to prepare your voice, and you have to prepare your hands, and you have to prepare everything. It's not just about picking up the controller and saying, I'm going to have a gaming session. No, I have to think about it the next day and say, am I ready to play on Monday, or are my hands still hurting? You see what I'm saying? So everything that I do, I have to premeditate and prepare for ahead of time. It's not just, I'm going to pick up the control and have an 8-hour session. No, I have to prepare myself for them 5-hour sittings and them 8-hour sessions. I have to prepare myself mentally, physically, and I have to be able to be like, okay, I have to take breaks in between to have a drink of soda or drink of tea and all that stuff. So it all factors. And I still gotta prepare. Like today, this is off the fly. I didn't write nothing down for this episode. You're gonna get a lot of that because I have spasms in my lungs. So they irritate my lungs and I start coughing. But my point is, this is on the fly episode. This is the first episode of many. I didn't write any of this down for this episode. This is just me rambling on and talking. But my point is, even though I don't have a working job that pays, I still write everything down that I do for the week. Podcasts, TikTok, Snapchat, fan base that I just started. I gotta figure all that out. And I still got Clipper that I want to try out, but I don't get no followers on Clipper. If y'all want to find me, go on, find me at TikTok. Handicap King, just like that. Handicap King. HANDIKAPKING. Handicap King. You can find me like that on TikTok. You can go on YouTube and look me up like that. Handicap King. Where else am I? Snapchat, same thing. Handicap King. That's my tag for everything, you guys. If y'all want to find me, just go like that. But don't forget to spell cap with a K, so it won't come up as somebody else. But yeah, that's my handle. I'm going to learn how to put my handle on this so y'all can always see it, so y'all can follow me everywhere. And like I said, you guys, I'm going to be doing a lot more things. This is just the first episode. This is off the fly, unscripted. And my shit is not going to be scripted. I'm not going to write anything down, but I'm going to memorize everything that I'm going to say, because I write everything down ahead of time and I just read it. I read it constantly. So my shit ain't gonna be scripted. I'm gonna be cussing. I'm gonna say all these stuff, and I'm gonna be myself on here. Because if anybody's gonna give me the real story about having cerebral palsy, come to my episode and y'all see what's really going on. Cause I'll tell you how it really is. All that stuff you see on TV that we're glamorized and we're smiling and all that good stuff, that's cool for TV. But I'm gonna give you the real story. And believe me, I'm gonna have guests on here that can tell you their stories, so you can sit there and say, wow, that podcast is really insightful, because not only did I get Josue's story, but I got his friend's story also. Because we might have the same disability, Some of my guests do have the same disability, but believe me, man, it's not the same thing. My cerebral palsy is not the same as Jeffrey's cerebral palsy. Or my friend Cody has, what was it? What's that shit he got? Spinal bifida or whatever. It's all different. And Cody, sorry if I got your disability wrong, brother. I'm just spitballing, man. I have a bad memory, I have too much information. But yeah, that's my boy Cody. Y'all go follow him, Cody Lashley, on YouTube. Cat Chronicles, follow him. He's a cool dude. He's my boy. He went to school with me. And if anybody can tell you anything about me, man, that fool knows me in and out, man. We grew up together. My friend Bobby, she's my homegirl. She's doing her thing, trying to get her business off the ground. So here's my thing, people. Me, Cody, and Bobby, we're trying to do different things. Cody got his podcast. I got my podcast. Bobby got her business going on. Everybody's doing different things, but my point is we're all trying to achieve the same goal. We're all trying to get noticed. We're all trying to get out there. We're all trying to get the piece of the pie because we deserve the piece of the pie. We deserve to have the same privileges as the next person. Just because we're disabled doesn't mean we can't have it. We deserve that and more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, take Bobby, for instance. And I don't want to talk about her personal business, but she's a go-getter, man. She's been doing her thing ever since I remember. She's been out there doing her thing, and she has a speech impediment, but she's still be getting her point across, man, and I applaud her, bro, because she's been through a lot, man, but, hey, she's still doing her thing, and don't get on her bad side, you know what I'm saying, but, and as for Jeffrey, I haven't talked to my boy in a while. I'm gonna try to reach out, but I'm trying to reach out. I haven't talked to Jeffrey in a minute, but that's my boy too. That's like the smarter version of me, if that makes sense, because I'm smart, but that boy is smart. That boy, he knows everything about Star Wars. He knows everything about Michael Myers, all the scary movies. He knows everything about that. That's my boy. And I haven't talked to him in a while, but, I'm going to reach out. Jeffrey, if you see this, holla at me, brother. I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? And as for Cody, I always talk about my boy Cody. That's my dog. I always tell him, man, you got a beautiful head of hair. Look at mine, man. I got gray hair. You know what I'm saying? I got gray hair, and that fool got a full head of hair, boy. You got the luscious hair, boy. You got that wavy hair, don't care type hair. You know what I'm saying? But that boy got the best beard. My friend Chad, my boy Chad. I see you, boy. He got the best beard in the world, I always tell him he is a handsome man, I am a heterosexual man, but that boy is handsome. And I'll say it on my podcast, I don't care. I'm real. Chad, you're handsome. I always tell you that, brother. You got the best beard in the world. You're my boy, you're my brother. And I love you, and I love all my friends. And I've been going on for 28 minutes and some change. But man, it's beautiful to be back on this Handikapable podcast. And I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And I will be deep diving more on different subjects. You know what? I forgot to talk about my other love, man. I forgot to talk about The Sopranos. I forgot to talk about the Power Rangers. You know what? I'm gonna give you a little bit of my love for The Sopranos, and then about the Power Rangers, and then I'll get off. So look, I love The Sopranos. I started watching them. I started watching them like 3 years ago. I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I forgot. But The Sopranos is my favorite show because, man, that show is like the best of HBO. That's the whole reason HBO is what it is today, because of that show. And if you try to tell me different, bro, that The Sopranos wasn't one of the first OG shows to put HBO on the map, you crazy. Yeah, they had Sex and the City, they had The Wire, they had all that, but The Sopranos, bro, that was the shit. That is the shit. That's still the best show ever I've ever seen. The actors, the plot, the story, everything about it is just perfect. There's not one episode I don't like. There's not one episode I won't watch over and over. If you can find a show better than The Sopranos, put it in the comment section and we'll have a debate about it. But I guarantee you, I will put my whole collection on the line. I will put everything that I have in my pocket on the line to tell you I beg to differ. There's not a show out there that can match the caliber that The Sopranos had, that can match the authenticity of the show. There's not any caliber that can match the actors, the storyline, the plot twist. There's nothing out there that can match it, bro. I'm sorry, I've looked, and there's nothing that catches me. I could start watching it and finish it today and start it over and still be excited. Name me a show that will do that. Name me a show that I could rewatch after I finish watching it and still be excited about. All these other shows that you see, Breaking Bad and Mobland and all these other shows that are coming out, what do you think they got their material from? The Sopranos started all of it. Without The Sopranos, you wouldn't have all these knockoff mob shows. I'm sorry, I'll say it. Without The Sopranos, you would not have any other mob show trying to emulate what The Sopranos was or it always will be. The best show. And shout out to James Gandolfini, rest in peace. Shout out to Paulie, Paul Sorvino, may rest in peace. Shout out to everybody that did that show, man. They did their thing. They did their thing, bro. I mean, they were the best. Even they emulate The Godfather. The Godfather is referenced in that show so many times. To be in the same caliber and the same subject as the Godfather movie, bro. Name me one show that does that. That will be in the same. That will be in the same caliber as that. If you mention with the Godfathers and the Sopranos, you made it, bro. And the Sopranos will always be a staple. When you think of mob boss, who do you think of? Tony Soprano. When you eat spaghetti, like me, when I eat spaghetti, the first show I want to watch, it's not Breaking Bad, it's not Mobland, I want to watch The Sopranos. And that's one of my favorite shows. I rewatch them every day, man. I rewatch that show so much. I know it frontwards, backwards, upside down. Man, I can listen to it and know what's going on. Listen to it. I use my ears and I close my eyes and I can see the episode in my head. That's how deep I am with The Sopranos. And yeah, man, that's how I am, bro. And everybody said, "Oh, you're obsessed." Hell yeah, I'm obsessed. The Sopranos, forget about it. I even say some of the words sometimes when I'm like upset. I'm like, what? Or like when something bad happens, I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" That's what Tony Soprano said in the show. And and like, you know what I mean? So yeah. So, oh yeah, and about Power Rangers, man, that's another one. I grew up with The Sopranos. I know what it is. Like, I mean, I grew up with the Power Rangers, and I grew up with I didn't grow up with The Sopranos because they came out in '99, and I didn't grow up with them, but I grew up with the Power Rangers, where you could say that. And okay, sorry, you guys. Yeah, I grew up with the Power Rangers, and I grew up with like all the '90s, and I got to meet Amy Jo Johnson, and I got to meet the Blue Ranger, the original Blue Ranger. I didn't get to meet JDF. May he rest in peace. I feel really bad that I didn't meet him, but I met Amy Jo, and she's so nice. I have to tell y'all a story about that. When I went to CollectorCon, I had to be there I forgot what time we had to be there. I think it was around 11, so I had to wake up at 8, like 8 in the morning to drive all the way to Fort Worth. So we got there, it was packed. I didn't even get to see all of them, but my main objective was to see Amy Jo. That was it. I didn't care. So I was in the building, I got where she was at, and I was in line, and I was like so nervous, you guys. I was so nervous because, well, I'm gonna see Amy Jo Johnson, I'm gonna see my crush. I'm gonna see Susie Q. I'm gonna see Jules from Flashpoint, and I'm gonna see my childhood. I'm gonna see one of my heroes from my childhood. So I was nervous. I was rolling up, and it got to me, and she was like, "Hi, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm good." And it's like, who do I make it out to? And okay, so I got a story. I went to CollectorCon, and I saw Amy Jo Johnson, and believe me, I was in a line, and I was happy to see her and everything, and I was so nervous, you guys. I was like, how am I going to see her? What am I going to say? I was so nervous, and believe me, I was nervous. So I rolled up, and she was like, "Oh my God, how are you doing? What's your name?" And I'm like, "Josue." And she was like, "Oh, you have a beautiful name and everything." And so, yeah, that's my story about Amy Jo Johnson. Oh, and she signed my vintage Power Ranger for free. She wasn't supposed to do that. She did it under the table, and she was so nice about it. And I'm gonna edit everything, so yeah, I was talking about other stuff on the other half of the video, but I'm gonna edit it, and this is the full podcast. And like I said, you guys, thank you for watching and everything, and I'm gonna talk about other stuff, and I'm gonna do another deep dive next weekend, so tune in. For everybody who watched this first episode of the podcast, it will be edited nice and neat. It will be nice and cut, so no interruptions. So thank you guys for watching, and till next time, thank you for joining the Handikapable podcast with your host Josue Maya. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Shout out to all my friends, Cody, Bobby, Jeffrey, all my friends, Aaliyah, Kayla. I didn't forget you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. You have a good day. Peace.